Welcome to Curmudgeon's Corner 28, everybody. What's going on?
Hey.
This is exciting. I love it when we have a first-timer on our show. Although I have to say, doing a little bit of my homework, this is not your first time. This is not your first rodeo at all.
It is not my first, but I'm so super excited to be on here and just to chat with you guys. And it's like it's cool to see like the little different corners of the detail industry and the people that have their podcasts and things like that, and to kind of get to go from like one corner to the other and how people do things. And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, everybody that has started watching, first and foremost, at 8 o'clock on the East Coast time, 5 o'clock West Coast, you have a million things that you could rather be doing, but you decided to spend your time here in the Curmudgeon's Corner. So we super appreciate everybody that's tuning in. I want to say a big shout out to Dan Fisher on Facebook, Ryan Mulhern, Hawaii Tim is in the house, Humberto, Mary, Rick Smith, Keith Firebird. The enthusiast is here. I saw Kim in here earlier. Adrian, of course, is always supporting the show.
Mr. Shine Your Light is here.
There you go. Titan Tim is in the house. Of course, it wouldn't be a party without Titan Tim. And just really, truly appreciate everybody to be here. And again, I really appreciate the Bearded Hunter for being here. Oh my goodness, the man, the myth, the legend, Hunter, the Bearded Hunter Johnson. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I do have a very small confession that I have been waiting all week to prostrate myself in front of you for. When I was doing the social media blasts for you, I was trying to tag you in a bunch of stuff, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't tag you. And then I realized I was spelling your handle wrong.
Oh.
And for the first, 6 months of my life, I thought you were the Beard Hunter, which is why I put that stupid little sniper rifle with the bearded guy silhouette there. Because I was like, the Beard Hunter, what an unusual name, the Beard Hunter. I'm going to have to really deep dive into why he calls himself the Beard Hunter.
Yeah.
And it turns out, much to my chagrin, you are the Bearded Hunter, which is a whole different angle. So I apologize. Please,
hey, that's okay.
Forgive me.
No worries at all.
The Bearded Hunter. I figured it out halfway through. If you go back to the May teaser, you'll see that it still says Beard Hunter, and I'm like, oh. And so it's impossible to edit and change.
Oh yeah,
swap out the pictures. So I feel like a fool, but I do appreciate your grace.
Hey, always.
So, speaking of which, where does the Bearded Hunter come from?
So when I started my Instagram back in whatever year that was, early college, it was probably like 2011, 2012, maybe, when I started Instagram. I was like, man, I need a catchy name. I don't know what it should be. And I was like, my name's Hunter. I have a beard. Let's just do the Bearded Hunter. And I was like, all right. And it just kind of stuck.
Works.
So that's, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah. Plain and simple, nothing, no special meanings to it. It was just I'm bearded. My name's Hunter, and the name _Bearded Hunter wasn't taken, so it worked out.
Sure. Have you always been a beard guy?
Pretty much, yeah. Because growing up in high school and stuff, we couldn't have any facial hair at all. They were pretty strict on that, and so it was like at the moment I graduated, I grew like a little patch on the chin, and then kind of had the chin strap for a while. And then the older I get, the more it grows in, the more full it gets. And so it's just kind of now it just after, it was probably 2013 or so, I went full beard and never went back. So,
all right, there you go. Well, it works for you. It works for you. I would say you're a ladies' man, but I understand that you're engaged.
Correct? I am engaged.
There you go. Yeah. So, ladies, he's off the table.
That's right.
So don't even try it. So, one of the first things that we like to do when you come on the show for the first time is we kind of do a superhero origin story. I got to be honest with you. I had no idea how deep your story went, and I started listening to some of the other podcasts that you've done. And you have quite the pedigree when it comes to the detailing world. When I got turned on to you, it was through your pictures, and I loved your creativity. You bring such life to other people's products. I was like, I have to have him bring that life to my products. I mean, you really have a skill. And I just thought that was, you know, again, another shortcoming on my end. I thought that was the end of it. But as I started doing that deeper dive, I mean, like, you're being invited to SEMA on behalf of other companies. You're a product ambassador. I mean, you got quite the stuff going on. So let's do the origin story.
Sure. Yeah. So let's throw it back to, I mean, really, you know, my first car back in high school was like, my 1997 maroon Eddie Bauer edition Ford Expedition. And that thing was passed down from my grandparents. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make this thing my own. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to make it perfect. And so I'd go down to my local Napa auto parts store. I grew up in a little country town. And there were some old faded, dusty Meguiar's and Turtle Wax products. And so I'd kind of cut my teeth on that stuff. And so that kind of just over time, you know, the more you do it, the better you get at it usually. And so it's just over time kind of progressed, got a little better. And so it was one day, gosh, probably 2014 maybe. I had a friend who was like, hey, what do you charge to detail a car? And I was like, I don't know. I've never detailed somebody else's car before. And he was like, well, you want to detail mine? Like, I just got a new Tesla. It's like when the Model S's first came out. Wow. And he was like, you want to detail my Tesla? And I was like, well, yeah, definitely. Cool. Sure. And so that was where my first customer was, you know, a Tesla. And so kind of just went from there. And so it's been this crazy road of, cause I mean, I just detail on the side. It's just a side thing I do on the weekends. I have a normal 8 to 5 during the week. And so if I have time in the evenings to go home and wash my truck or something, or shoot a little content, I will. If not, I have to wait till a Saturday if I'm free or something like that. But yeah, so it's been, I still consider myself very small in the detailing industry, just because there's so many amazing people all over the place that do such amazing work. And so, yeah, I kind of stumbled across the rag company back in the day when I was first kind of getting into detailing. And so that turned into creating a relationship with the rag company, and then ultimately getting chosen as a brand ambassador to represent the company. And so got to do that in 2022. And then that kind of transitioned to a second time of getting to be an ambassador, a brand ambassador at the second half of last year. And so then that kind of trickled down. And go ahead.
What is a brand ambassador?
Mm-hmm. So it's a brand ambassador for the rag company. And so it's realistically primarily just an Instagram-based ambassador program. And so you don't really have to post on, you're not required to post on, you know, YouTube or Facebook or that kind of thing. It's more of just Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's kind of where brand ambassador comes from. But
makes sense.
Yeah, you're a product ambassador for the rag company. They send you, at that point, they're now in a trimester system. When I first got chosen, it was a quarterly system. And so they would choose 10 people every quarter to represent the company. And so you would, you fill out an application. They'd go through all the applicants. They would choose the top 10 of those applicants. And then you'd be chosen to be a brand ambassador for that quarter. And so I was Q2. Cool. It was really cool. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't expect that I would get chosen to be a brand ambassador, at least not the first. Right before that, my Instagram was just full of photos. I have a decent photography background, some videography background, and so my Instagram was just photos of cars. I'd go to Cars and Coffee and stuff like that and take photos. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be an ambassador for a company, they want detailing content, so I need to start making some detailing content. And so I started making some content, and I filled out an application and got chosen for Q2 of 2022. And so that ran for that quarter. And honestly, that's been the biggest thing that's kind of, I guess, set me off on my journey of detailing in the industry and just social media and that kind of thing, is like the relationships that I've gotten to build with people through that program has been insane. And so, I got to...
Do you see any new clients coming from that, or is that just like professionally, that's where you see the benefits?
Really,
or the impact?
Yeah, I don't see as customer base. No, not really. I think most of my stuff is all just word of mouth. It's
Yeah.
somebody who's a friend of a friend or something like that. They've followed me on Instagram. They're local. That actually, there's one person. Shout out to Adrian, who this guy here in town had reached out to Adrian, saw his like some stuff about ceramic coating, and he was like, "Hey man, where are you located? I'd love to get my car ceramic coated." And Adrian's like, "Oh, I'm California." And
Right.
so he's like, "Where are you at?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm in San Antonio, Texas." And he goes, "Actually, I know a guy in San Antonio, Texas. Let me pass you off to my good friend Hunter." And so it was crazy. And we actually frequent the same coffee shop like every day. I run into him all the time. And so
That's super cool.
it was pretty wild. Yeah.
It's a super small world, and it's amazing how often that happens.
Yeah.
But so I guess that answers my next question. So you hail from San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah.
It's amazing. My aunt and uncle were stationed there, and so we spent quite a good amount of time in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, yeah.
Living with my aunt and uncle because my dad was a Marine and he was often deployed. And whenever my dad was deployed, my mother would, basically merge our families together. So I kind of grew up with my cousins, and one of those places happened to be San Antonio, Texas.
That's cool. Military City, USA.
Yeah.
Have you been there your whole life, or you kind of just migrated there?
Yeah, pretty much my whole life. I was born here, and then my family and I moved to a little country town about an hour southeast of San Antonio. So I spent from 3rd grade through college out there, and then moved back to San Antonio. And so I've always been. It was one of those things where the town was so small. If you wanted to go if you wanted to go see a movie or you wanted to go to the mall, you just drove back into San Antonio.
So you've really seen the change that it's gone through years.
For sure.
I mean, I went there a few years ago, and I mean, it's popping.
Yeah, it's a big city.
Yeah, it's much bigger than I had anticipated. So I would assume you must have seen that like drastic change to go from what you call a small town to like much bigger.
Oh yeah, like just I mean, just growing up, because my grandmother or my grandparents grew up on the side of town, and she's basically lived there since I've been alive. And so to go over there all the time and to see what used to be 1 or 2 neighborhoods with a lot of brush and trees and everything, to now it's fully developed, I'm like, this is weird. I need to slow down. I miss the trees.
So let me ask you a question there, Hunter. Does the phrase cloak and dagger mean anything to you?
Cloak and dagger? No, not really.
That's so sad. I mean, it's so sad. You call yourself a San Antonian. It was a B movie in the 80s called Cloak and Dagger.
Okay.
And it was filmed in San Antonio along the Riverwalk, and it was awesome. And as a kid, I loved that movie.
Okay.
And I would imagine that I can't imagine there's too many movies filmed in San Antonio, Texas,
right,
other than like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, aka the Alamo.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Cloak and Dagger. If you haven't seen it, it's phenomenal. I love it, and pretty much sums up my childhood.
Okay.
You've never even seen it.
I'll have to check it out. See, I was born in '92, so I missed some of the '80s stuff.
You missed that.
So they filmed all of it, and they were
Yeah.
You missed it probably by a decade, if not more.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. But yeah, I loved it. Is anybody going to San Antonio or Phoenix, Arizona? Is it Cloak and Dagger? Could it be spring or fall? I don't get it. I don't understand the reference. But anyway, I'm sorry for completely derailing this conversation. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm trying to catch up on comments. They just
1984, a young boy and his imaginary friend end up on the run while in possession of a top secret spy gadget. Yeah, that really happened.
Sounds great.
Henry Thomas, Dabney Coleman, and Michael Murphy. So there you go.
Okay.
I wasn't making this up, in case you were wondering.
No, I believe you.
Yeah. As a kid, it's the Never Ending Story, Cloak and Dagger. I mean, those were all kind of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Man,
all right.
I'm lacking in the movie department for sure. I'm not the most knowledgeable movie person.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. People can recite things from movies, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, my best friends growing up were Captain America, G.I. Joe, the Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah. I was cartoon Mighty Ducks.
Okay,
and
sure.
some
Yeah.
Power Ranger stuff. But,
Darkwing Duck, right?
oh yeah, that was.
There you go. So you had said that detailing was kind of tertiary or secondary to a regular 9-to-5 job. What is going on there, and why like going down that path? What made you choose one versus what appears to be something that you're very, very good at and are naturally being drawn into by and noticed by all these other companies? I would think that would be kind of you'd gravitate more towards that.
Yeah, sure. No, so I work for a title company. It's like home titles. If you buy a house and you go to close on your house, you usually go to close at a title company. They kind of help. They'll help, through all the documentation and to the transfer of the funds and that kind of thing. And so I'm on the national marketing team for this title company. There's like 50 of us across the U.S. And so there's 4 of us in San Antonio. We have a little marketing office just for us. We used to be a part of like a normal operation, and we just got bigger. And my printer is 18 feet long, and so I needed a space that was big enough, and I wasn't disturbing other people's workflow with my printing. And so, so I do a little design work, not too much anymore. I do a little email marketing for San Antonio teams, and then I'm primarily printing and shipping marketing materials. So if a rep requests, postcards or flyers or something like that, they'll kick it to a designer. A designer will design it and then send it to me, and I'll print them and ship them out. And so that's what I do. But
cool. And marketing is like that's your thing. That's your sauce.
Yeah,
You like
it's.
it.
I never saw myself really liking social media marketing too much, but now that I'm looking back, I'm like, why did I not like it? Because it's so much fun. It's a blast. Yeah.
And you were really, really good at it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Your content. It's like when you the one picture that I think it was the Hydra where it looked like you were catching it. Like you just have this. I mean, you have a real flavor and a real knack for what you do. I mean,
thank you.
Wow. I was overly impressed. And again, I'm coming in on the back end of what everybody already knew before I got here. You got mad skills, man. So I would imagine whatever you want to do, you can pretty much choose your own adventure.
For sure. Yeah. I've always been a creative person, and back in the day, it was like actual physical arts, like colored pencils and that kind of thing, drawing. And then that kind of transitioned into photography, did a lot of photography stuff. And then that went into some videography, doing wedding videos and things like that. And then now it's just a hobby that I do, whenever I want to pick up my camera and take some photos. But it definitely helps me on the social media side of things too, being able to capture stuff.
So why only IG?
I think it's just I'm lazy.
All right.
That's a good reason.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think Instagram is such a beast, and there's so many facets to it that I think I just don't want to take the time to set up a camera and shoot a full length video and have to go back and edit it all and put out stuff for YouTube, that kind of thing. Which I mean, I shoot half of my stuff on my phone, the other half's on my actual like mirrorless camera, but I'll shoot it on my phone. I edit it all in Instagram for a reel, and that's what I do with it. So I just keep it simple.
I would say that like between the two, not counting YouTube, but like Facebook and Instagram, Instagram gets definitely more love from me. But I use that Meta Business Suite, which allows me to basically put both things at the same time. So it's really doing one project, but it's able to post it on both channels. Yeah, and that so you're doing twice the amount of work for half the time. And,
I do the same thing.
I can appreciate that. But again, as far as actually logging into Facebook, I never do. But I log into Instagram, 20 times a day.
For sure. Yeah. And I pretty much just use Facebook for personal, like storing, just looking back at old photos, family photos, that kind of thing. It's funny. I've been getting friend requests from people in the detailing industry, and most of them I just haven't even accepted yet. Cause I'm like, do I want to open this up to like everyone or just keep it to like friends and that kind of thing?
I think it's important to have that split, because I do the same thing too, where I have some like detailing side of my life that they follow me on on Facebook, but I think it's cool to have that like split where you like this is that life. And
I'm
then
torn.
this
I'm
life.
torn because like I find like the whole idea of the social media is to be able to form these relationships. And so when, somebody, finds out who I am and goes after Aaron Burkett on Facebook and they send me a friend request, it's like, am I going to be perceived as a jerk by like ignoring it or not accepting it? So then I guess like, all right, accept. And now I've just kind of like, I don't really post anything personal anymore. Like you said, it's just for like, rehashing pictures of time gone by. But I just kind of feel like I'm doing a disservice to the fan base. And it's kind of like, well, if they're going to spend that time and they want to actually friend me, then I'm doing a disservice to them by not accepting their friendship. So it's that I basically, it's like, well, if I choose to go open up that door, I'm no longer going to share personal aspects of anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, I finally hit a point with Instagram where I was like, okay, if you scroll back far enough, you're going to see a lot of old photos with me and like long hair and a crazy beard and like all sorts of stuff. You have to go quite a ways back, but it was, I finally made the decision. I was like, okay, most of my, even like Instagram stories, I want to try to keep those to detailing content, not a lot of personal stuff. Ended up just making another personal account just so I can just document stuff to go back and look on. Yeah. And to go back to the second part of your question, as far as like why I'm not more into the detailing industry, I don't exactly know. Me as a person, I don't think I would want to detail like the physical act of detailing, do that every day. I think as fun as it is, I think I oftentimes go so hard into what I'm doing that I burn myself out pretty fast. And so that's just learning what it looks like to slow my roll a little bit and to pace myself. But it allows me to, do it when I want to, post when I want to. And if I'm just not feeling it, I don't have to worry about. I think the moment I work into, I'm like, okay, is this like my primary income now? I have to, like, if I don't have jobs coming in, like I'm not making money. And so I think I've just kind of left.
Changes your perspective a little bit.
For sure. Yeah. It definitely adds some pressure and some different aspects to it that aren't there if you're just doing it, for fun.
And
so, yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I wasn't necessarily, referring to just doing like your own detail business. Like two things. I went to art school for graphic design and visual communications because I was going to be a comic book artist. And when I got there, like when they were forcing you to conform to whatever their ideology was, it really kind of burnt me out. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I did end up getting a job for Dynamic Forces, which is a comic book producing company, and I became their media coordinator. And it just turns out that it doesn't really pay very well, which is why I eventually had to part ways. But the point of the story is like I really loved comics. I wanted to be a part of comics. And I did everything I could to be in that stratosphere.
Yeah.
When I worked for my old company, they sent me to a detailer school, which was basically following around another detailer for a couple of weeks. And the only thing that I really learned was that I didn't want to be a detailer for sure. Like I can't spend more than, 3 minutes hunched on my knees before they want to scream and give out. And I couldn't, it wasn't built for me. So, obviously that wasn't a choice, but yet here I am still doing in the stratosphere of detailing, being a producer, manufacturer of chemicals. So I just thought, because of your passion behind it, because I mean, you're not taking really, or you're not posting pictures of other stuff of, there's a million different brands out there, and you have such an eye for creativity. And I would just imagine that, you'd be in some marketing firm doing, something related to that kind of visual communication.
Yeah. For
you're
sure.
Extremely talented. So to hear that you're doing titles is kind of wow. Wow.
My job is not stressful. It's pretty consistent, which of course there's always going to be times where you want a little more challenge, a little more push, but at the same time, it, like I said, it's consistent. It allows me to to go to work and then leave work, and I can fully disconnect, which in the past, working a lot of retail jobs, you can't really disconnect.
That's so important.
You get off and you're like, I'm just working all the time, even when I'm off. Because before my title job, I was managing a coffee shop. And so it was like, even when you're off, you're not off because people are asking you questions. And so, yeah, this job has been really nice from the standpoint of like work-life balance, of being able to get off at 5 o'clock. And I don't even have email on my phone. So it's like, I go home and I'm completely disconnected, and I can go, sit down with friends or family or detail if I want to, and be, keep those two things separate and keep my life a little less stressful. But
not that you need any more patting on the back, but I mean, did you see what Titan Tim just said? I would fight Stan if I lived in this area desert from Hunter. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, your imagery is amazing. Like you really, I'm not blowing smoke up you. It's really, really good. I mean,
thank you.
What does the Joker say? If you're good at something, never do it for free. You could charge a pretty penny for the services that you give to companies like myself. You really could. And if I haven't said so already, I am grateful for the pictures that you've taken of my products and shown it off, and hopefully they have served you well on the stuff that you have been able to use.
They've been great. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try the polishes yet, which I'm dying to try them. But no, everything that I've tried so far has been phenomenal. So again, thank you for sending some stuff my way, sending me dropping the kitchen sink in my front door. And man, I think I messaged you at one point and told you, I was like, man, I've been dying to try this stuff for so long and just hadn't gotten around to it. And it's been, man, they're fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And again, I can't take credit for any of it because I have the most incredible team that I work with. Eileen being one of them. Speaking of Grambassadors, I saw her first, and she has been doing a lot of little shorts for me and stuff like that. She does incredible work. I don't know if you heard, but she's recently won some awards. She's been in some magazines.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a rising star here on our hands. And for everybody and anybody that's watching this and has been watching the Curmudgeon's Corner, I got her first. So hands off.
That's right.
Sons of guns. I saw her first. We have a real rising star working for us. And then again, the four horsemen, Titan Tim, and 5 other ladies and gentlemen that have worked with me to help me create these products. I can't take credit for any of it because I'm the village idiot, and everybody around me is a real superstar in what they bring to the table. So
yeah, now you got a great team for sure.
Absolutely. So, Eileen, it's 8:30. We've been doing this for half an hour already.
Yeah.
Should we give something away?
I think so.
Yeah. All right.
What do you want to give away?
I don't know. What do you want to give away? We can either do a Typhon kit, or we can do Peleus, or we could do the flagship Titan. Whatever floats your boat.
Oh, let's do Titan. We haven't done that.
There you go. Exactly. In the words of legendary Ron Burgundy, she's kind of a big deal. Eileen, do you have furniture that smells of rich mahogany?
I don't, unfortunately. I do not.
Titan, I ran out of it today. Mark, I don't believe that you have won anything in the last 3
Well, now it's his chance.
So now's your chance. Give all of them away. Hey, I'm pacing myself there, Hawaii Tim. All right, Daddy Warbucks, I'm pacing myself.
I've got a question if you want me to give it.
I would love for you to ask a question.
Okay, cool. How do I word this question? Let's see.
Let me get this. All right, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, Hunter said that his first detail was in 2014. What vehicle was it that he detailed? Tim.
And show. Boom. All right. Corvette Expedition, 97 Expedition by Keith Firebird. Tesla by Becca.
Yeah, if you're going by
Hunter,
the, like,
yeah, you'll have to
professional-
make that decision. 'cause,
Yeah. We're gonna have to go
I
with
see them-
with Tesla because that was the first, the first professional job that I did. So,
because I know Papa said Model S, which I guess technically is correct also. But
yeah.
you make
but
the
I mean,
choice.
Becca got it first. Becca got it two
Yeah.
comments before Papa Smurf.
Let's do it.
However, Becca did win like last Curmudgeon's Corner, so she might not be eligible for winning. And then there's Papa Smurf, who doesn't really qualify for anything because he's handicapped. Hunter, I'm going to leave that up to you. Do you?
Oh, man,
I mean,
all right.
do you want, as my guest of honor, you have the ability to supersede any kind of rules that we might apply to this game. If you would like Becca to win, we will send her something. If you want Papa Smurf to win, we'll send him something.
Yeah, let's send it to Becca.
Papa.
Let's send it to Becca.
Becca or Papa? Becca, Papa.
Well,
Becca
Papa, I love you, but let's send it to Becca.
Clearly, by his choice, Papa, he hates you. So there we go. Becca for the win.
From one bearded brother to another.
Becca won. She won a Typhon last time. So, Becca, what would you like to win this time? It could be the flagship of Titan or the Peleus panel prep. Oh, my goodness. Papa, everybody in this room hates you. Look at this. Oh, my gosh.
Not me, Eric. Not me.
Becca, enthusiast. Becca. Mary, Becca. Becca says yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. Give her the Titan, Aaron. All right. Papa Smurf, since you are clearly the winner by default, we will send Becca a bottle of Titan. There it goes. All right.
Awesome. Hunter, what's your favorite part of detailing?
Ooh, I think I say my favorite part is the product side of things. I love geeking out about products. Yeah, trying new things, seeing how they work compared to other things.
Yeah.
It's funny because I never expected to end up at this spot where I'm buying or people are sending me things and trying so many different products. It was more of like I'm going to buy a bottle of this. I'm going to go through the entire bottle, just normal details or my personal vehicles or whatever. And then I'm sure, either I'll buy the same thing because it worked well, or let me try something else. And so I love the product side of things a lot. It's just really cool because there's so many. And they all have their own certain characteristics. So it's like, oh wow, look at when you hit the paint with something, you're like, holy cow, look at the look that this gives versus something else that I tried before. And like, I don't know what's in it that makes it does that, but I've never seen anything do something quite this way. And so
that's cool.
For
me, it's a total opposite when it comes to that, because I feel like giving me too many options gives me like anxiety.
Oh, for sure. There's sometimes I want to consolidate everything.
Oh my God. Like, I'm like, oh, this is good, but then this is good. And then what about this? And then I have like 4 different thing, in that same product line. And I'm like, I don't know what to use. Yeah. So
it's a struggle. But
it
really is.
But it is exciting to try something new and see what it could do.
Yeah. I mean, it's in almost the same amount. It's like, I just love the satisfying before and afters, seeing what it was and what you're able to bring it back to, whether it's something that's really trashed or those customers that bring you something it's brand new. I mean, literally drove it off the showroom the day before, and they're like, I didn't realize my new car could look so much more new. And I'm like, yeah, it's you don't know until
you're like, that's that Bearded Hunter effect.
Yeah. Right.
So Hunter,
you're welcome.
If you get your bread and butter from a different 9-to-5 job, what keeps you wanting to stay engaged in the detailing? Like, I mean, I know like my life is so crazy and hectic as it is that it's kind of like, if I have 2 seconds to do something in my free time, I'm going to go do this, or I'll play a video game, or I'm going to watch, Fallout or whatever. So what is it that keeps you engaged in the detailing? And then if you're not detailing, what is it that you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. Yeah. Also, side note, I need to watch Fallout still. I have yet to watch it.
I've only got to watch the first 3 episodes, and it is incredible. I am loving it. And I never played the game, but I watched my son and my stepson play it at length. And the reason why I've only watched the first 3 episodes is that I really enjoy watching the program alongside both of them so I can fact check as we go along. Like, what was that like? What about that? Who's that? What is that? What's going on there? And they're just like, can you just watch the show, man? And I'm like, but I want to know.
That's so cool. Yeah, I played Fallout New Vegas, which was or mid 2000s, something like that, early like 2010 or 2007.
Which is funny because I heard that's like the worst of them all.
It probably was. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I other than what was the last one, 76? I think 76 jumped the shark, but they were like Vegas was okay. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No, you're good. So yeah, I think so. Just to give you a scope of other things that I enjoy doing, I tell people all the time that I'm like the human embodiment of a golden retriever, and I just am like a happy-go-lucky guy who just likes to hang out with people and have a good time. And so I love coffee. Working in coffee in the past, and I'm just a big coffee guy. And so for me, relaxing is hit me. What you got?
No, finish your thought.
Okay.
It's a whole new story.
Okay. So for me, it's like I love waking up on a Saturday morning or something, going to a coffee shop, just getting a cup of coffee and sitting at the bar. And I love just chatting with whether it's a barista or usually I frequent the same places or place. And so I end up knowing several people in the room at a given point in time. And so it's kind of just hanging out with people I know. So it's whether it's coffee stuff or I do enjoy some video games. I kind of jump back and forth between Fortnite and Call of Duty. Those are kind of my two. And so that's usually more in the evenings when friends get off work and we all convene and we'll run a few games. But that are just photography, that kind of thing. So I'm a little all over the place. I used to do some I would paint shoes, do some little shoe customization type stuff at one point in time. So that was kind of fun. But
tennis too, right? You play tennis?
Oh yeah, and tennis too. Yeah, I do play tennis, and I've been playing tennis since beginning of high school, really. And so I'm kind of having a resurgence of getting back into a lot more tennis, which has been nice. But
awesome.
So I'm all over the place. Really, my hobbies are very, very all over the place.
Everywhere.
But,
if it's a good time, you're there.
Yeah, definitely. And so detailing for me has always been very therapeutic. It's just really nice to get out, spend 2 or 3 hours outside detailing my truck, especially when the weather's nice, crank up some music and just be out there. It's one of those things where it's like, if a day is crazy stressful and I have time after that to go home and just spend 30 minutes in the garage, I will, just to decompress, even if no music's on, just to work through some thoughts and to relax a little bit. And so that's all. I always come back to detailing, even if it's just for that, of the just the therapeutic aspect of it. And so it's, the social media side, I think for some reason, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, I feel like I'm in a good groove right now of it doesn't feel stressful and it doesn't feel hard to come up with content or to shoot content. And so, which is it was weird because during the Grand Ambassador times, it felt a little harder because it's like, oh, I'm being judged right now based upon what I'm posting and how often I'm posting.
Yeah.
And so I think that helped just grow me a lot and kind of shape my my skill set with the social media side of things. But it's just, I think at this point it's just fun. It's become fun. It's kind of like almost like one of those internal goals of all right, let's see, can I post every day this week? And can I, all of that. And so it's just kind of, I make a game out of it and just have fun with it. But
I feel the same like when I first started creating the reels and all that, it was a big struggle.
It's hard.
It's
hard work.
But then once you figure out your blueprint and what angles work and so I use my phone and I use a GoPro.
Nice.
And so sometimes I'll have it set up in a certain area and I'll get a different view and another angle. Mm-hmm. But once you figure out what angles work for you or what comes out right for the content you want to create on Reels, it makes it much easier. Because then for me, it's just cut and paste. It's just a different car, kind of similar angles, and what angles work, and what people want to see.
For sure.
Everyone wants to see, the tires, and everyone wants to see, all these other things. So, yeah, it makes it much easier.
Yeah, for sure. It's keeping, because I feel like I'm always towing the line of trying to keep them consistent enough. I'm okay, this is These are the SOPs of shooting a wheel and tire cleaning
Right.
video. And I'm like, cool, let me do this step, that step, these angles. But I'm like, how can I also make it different enough for the next time I do this to where it doesn't feel like the exact same video?
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's so, because I mean, it's
It
like,
is.
especially for you guys that are doing it, day in and day out, it's like, hey, I'm getting all these cars coming in. I can create a lot of content off of it, but how do I not keep them all looking like, oh, it's Tuesday, here's another Tesla? So it's like, it's
Yeah.
it's a challenge for sure.
Absolutely.
So Hunter, what got me all lit up when you said what you had said, because I was watching Eddie's podcast with you.
Yeah.
I too was a barista.
Were you? Okay.
I was. As a matter of fact, that's where I met my first wife. I was working at a Starbucks in downtown Pittsburgh at well, on the not the south side. It's near Holy's Fish Market, which is technically called the Strip. But I was a barista at Starbucks on the Strip in Pittsburgh for a little while there. So,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's right. We have common ground here.
Yeah, we do.
The Mocha Mista was my favorite. I forget what Mocha Macchiato, I think is what it's called. Mocha Misto?
I thought you were telling us what your name was at Starbucks.
No. I was a barista.
Aaron, what did they call you? The Mocha?
Yeah, it was like
the Mocha Maestro.
Working the morning shift. It was just like, put that guy over in the corner and give him something to not talk to customers, because for the first 2 hours of his shift, he will murder somebody.
Yeah.
So I would be like, scrubbing pots and things of that nature. And then once the caffeine finally hit my brain, and then I was just, I was a character. I was a clown. I was trying to do as much. You remember the movie Cocktail? I was trying to do that as much as possible, but with coffee carafes and, flavored shots and, spit in the milk bottle and all that nonsense. But
I was like, when I opened back when I was even just like a shift lead before even it was a manager, I was working at one of our, for the company, there was multiple locations, but one of them was a little smaller, kind of a very chill vibe, especially early in the morning. So I'd walk in, I'd be the first one there, and I'm waiting for the other employee to come in. And so I'd have just some kind of music cranked up. The Tom Cruise of coffee. Yeah.
I'm saying. I mean, I didn't have the beard, so it's probable. Maybe.
But I would have it could be some hip hop. It could be, I'm the type to wake up early in the morning, first thing in the morning, and just crank up some crazy music. I don't want to turn on the slow vibes because it makes me sleepy. So just hit the ground running. I'm a morning person, so I hit the ground running and turn on some hip hop, or they'd walk into the shop and I have Moby just blaring in the cafe.
Moby.
Yeah, some Moby.
I love it. I could get behind some Moby.
Yeah.
Southside. Yeah, absolutely.
Moby's a vibe. But man, yeah, it was fun being a barista for sure. I miss the aspect of talking to people. I'm a people person. I like being around people. It was fun talking to customers, having those regulars that would come in. I would get so many gifts being a barista. Mm-hmm.
I got Dylan tickets. A guy was just like, hey, I got tickets for Dylan this weekend. I can't go. You want them? And I'm like, I'll do 2 shots for you, sir.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. And then we had there's a sandwich, a hoagie shop right next door to us. I can't remember the name of the hoagie shop, but we would do exchanges all the time. We'll bring over coffee if you bring over hoagies, and you know what I mean? You were like everybody's best friend, because you're giving them the vital drug that they need to get through their day. And absolutely, being a barista was a lot of fun. It doesn't pay. But it was a lot of fun, dude. Yeah. And you make so many friends.
Oh, yeah. It was honestly the best part was you'd have a regular that would come in, and before they even go to order, I'm like, you want your regular? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, I'd rattle off whatever it was. And yeah, awesome. And it was so much fun getting to make people feel like they walk into it's like their second home. They walk in and I'm like, hey, good to see you.
It's
I saw you
Norm
yesterday.
From Cheers. Hey,
yeah,
man,
exactly.
What's going on? How you been? Blah, 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 blah. 2 shots of mocha and a vanilla. He's like, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
See, Mocha Maestro.
Yep, that's right.
So I when you said that, I was just like, up connection, bang bong, bing bong.
Yeah.
Hunter, what is your least favorite part of detailing? I hate to talk about the negative, but we got.
Everybody says. I know what everybody says. I wonder if you're any different.
Oh, interiors? No, I actually like it. I actually like interiors. I like them. Yeah,
you do like an interior.
I do like them. I think, sometimes they're definitely a grind. Like especially when it's hot. I mean, being here in South Texas, it could be, if I'm in the garage in the middle of summer, it's 110 in the garage or more. But I think it's one of the spots where you find the most transformation, especially if it's a really cooked interior. So I think that's why I find them fun. The least fun part of detailing overall, I think it's just like oh man, I feel like there are a lot of times now. This is in any industry, anything in life. There's always a lot of egos, and a lot of egos always end up clashing, or like everybody on different sides. Sometimes people don't get along, and that's just life. But also, I feel like sometimes egos kind of rear up sometimes, and so that's
definitely a downfall.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's probably one of the least fun parts of detailing. But physically, like the physical aspect of detailing, I would say like fender liners, undercarriage type stuff. That's not very fun.
It's not fun at all.
It makes a huge difference, but it's not fun. So
I would take that over an interior any day. I had an interior yesterday. It was disgusting.
Oh no.
Not in a bad way. It was just, well, I guess it was bad. It was really bad. But like you said, it's great when you get in there and you're like, what is this? Yeah. And then you get to work, and then it comes out pretty decent.
Yeah. So, yeah. I have a friend who hit me up yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, you got time to work in my girlfriend's car? It's a Forester." And I go, "Yeah, sure." And it's pretty, it's pretty dirty, especially the outside. It's been a long time, and so we're gonna give it a good reset. But he was like, "Yeah, she had two Dr. Peppers exploded in the back seat yesterday." And I go, "Oh no!" I was like, I haven't even looked at the headliner yet. I think I'm doing it next weekend, but I'm like,
actually, I'm busy.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, the headliner stuff. If that's with the headliner,
I'm booked for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Once I saw the back half of the door was just covered. I was like, oh no.
Oh man, Dr. Pepper exploded in the back.
Yeah.
What a nightmare. But now it's your problem. Bye. What? 45 minutes? Half hour? What do you need?
Yep, exactly. I'm like, give it to me all day. You're looking at 10 to 12 hours at least on this car. So just come back and pick it up in the evening.
Absolutely. What kind of music do you like? I think we touched on it, but what kind of music do you usually gravitate to? Besides
Moby.
Besides Moby.
I'm all over the place. I love me some classical music or jazz. I'm a big jazz classical guy. But on the flip side, I mean, I like some pop. I like a lot of hip hop. I'm not as big of a country guy, which is funny. I tell people, growing up in a country town, a little small country town, I went through a little phase where I was like my country phase, but that never stuck. And so it's like my brother is definitely a lot more country than I am. And so I don't mind country music. I'll listen to it. If you play some like mid 2000s country, I know every word to every song. I don't know why. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm really pretty diverse in.
So Drake or Kendrick?
Oh, I knew it was going there. I'd go Kendrick for sure. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
And
to be fair, I haven't kept up with much of the beef. My coworker, every year the Spotify Wrapped, Drake is his number one. He's a big Drake guy. And so we walk into the office on a given day, and he'll slide me a little snippet of what he's like, hey, here's what's going on this week. Here's what happened, in your daily news of the beef. And so I watched a TikTok yesterday where they like broke it down. Oh,
it was like a 10-minute TikTok, and I was more confused after than I was before. And I was like, Drake. I like Drake. So.
I like them both. And I think I would pick from the music that I've listened to over the years, definitely Drake. I think I love old Drake, like Take Care Drake. I love that time frame of Drake. Right. That was awesome. I like the lyrical side of the Kendrick stuff and some of the.
Oh, Kendrick is really he's a powerhouse when it comes to
his diversity in just like one song. I'm like, how did you make your voice go from that type to this tone to like back to this? I'm like, this is crazy. So they're both very talented. It's just
Yeah. It is what it is. Aaron, we're done talking about it. No,
we're done with it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I listen. I enjoy pretty much all.
He's like, let's go back to Moby.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, how do you guys feel about New Kids? I mean, I hear they're making a comeback, and I mean, it was New Kids on the Block Day just a couple of days ago. It's very exciting. I wish you guys would talk more about that.
Also, it's complete random side note. Back to coffee. I'm still sipping on a little coffee here.
Is it Irish?
No, it's a Honduran natural.
Whatever.
But
it's not mocha, so he doesn't care.
Do you ever freeze your beans? Do you ever freeze coffee beans?
I think it's kind of a personal question. I mean,
depends on the time of year.
You freeze your beans? I have not in a while. Back in the day when I was, smuggling certain Starbucks blends, absolutely. But now that I've gotten out of the game, I don't really freeze my beans anymore.
So any coffee drinkers out there, a little tip is so like this coffee I'm drinking right now is from, I think it was roasted like beginning of January of this year, which in coffee terms is way old, way past like any drinkable date. But what you do is you get a little vacuum sealer, get little vacuum seal bags. So I dosed them out at 22 grams per bag, vacuum sealed them, and then left them in the freezer. So the freezing actually basically doesn't completely stop, but it severely slows down the aging, and so the off-gassing and anything like that. And so you can pull it out, and I'm drinking this. Tastes like a fresh bag of coffee that I picked up 3 days ago, and it was the beginning of January. So,
or you could just buy smaller quantities and then just use it. I mean, you could do that.
This is a 12-ounce bag. I just don't drink coffee at home. I'm too much of a social drinker to make coffee at home. So this is a very rare occasion that I actually made a cup at home. But,
okay, all right.
I get my coffee from the grocery.
This is a judge-free zone. You can do anything you
want. It could have expired last year, and I would still make it and still drink it and have no idea. That's how much of a coffee drinker I am.
I'm a little snobbish from working in a coffee shop.
I feel like it comes with the territory. Yeah, you have to be.
It's worn off over the last few years because I've been at my current job for 5 years. So over the last 5 years, it's definitely worn off a lot. But
all right, so I'm gonna throw down with you, sir.
All right, hit me.
I'm gonna throw down with you. So your gourmet barista cup of coffee versus the diner cup of Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Convince me which is better.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with a diner cup of Joe.
Absolutely, man. In my heyday, back in the day before I had responsibilities, a diner cup of Joe, and this is going back a little bit because it hasn't been allowed in America in some time, but a diner cup of coffee and a cigarette was the greatest thing on the planet. I mean, I tell you what, I'd get like
I'll send you straight to the bathroom.
Nicotine stains on my fingers and a cup of coffee. Man, that was living.
Two smells.
Oh my
merging.
God.
Was that your paramedic? Was that your paramedic days?
That was my paramedic days, and it was also my my Art Institute days in Pittsburgh. I think by the time I finished my paramedic days, I was up to like a 2-pack a day habit. I had to get out of that quickly, but yeah, the diner cup of coffee.
It's I usually drink my coffee black. I usually just drink it straight. But something about a diner cup of coffee, put a little cream, a little sugar, and you just sit there. It's like every ounce of nostalgia from your childhood just rushes back in, and so it's I don't know why, but it's just how it.
Yeah.
What it
after I quit smoking, I literally had to stop drinking coffee because of that connection. It was just like. You know what I mean? Like your hand would just kind of form to the cigarette and the mug, and you're just like, can't do this.
Yeah.
Can't do this. Can I have some ginger ale, please? This is not working. I want to murder somebody. Give me a cigarette. Anyway, sorry. I digress a lot. Superior coffee typically supplied to diners. Superior coffee typically supplied to the diner coffee shops. Yeah, that's true. But the difference is that the diner coffee will sit on that burner for indefinite periods of time.
Yeah,
which gives it that extra
the caramelization of
the
it
caramelization.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's exactly right. Yeah, I don't do Dunkin' Donuts at all. Something about the oil of their coffee bean gives me massive heartburn. It was crazy because I drink coffee all the time from everywhere.
Yeah.
But the Dunkin' Donuts coffee just, whew, it's all day long. I'm just like, oh my god. So much
What do you think, Hunter? Dunkin' or Starbucks? Which one? What's your choice?
Oh man,
it depends on the Starbucks blend. Starbucks is very particular when it comes to their blends. I was a blondie kind of guy, so.
Okay, yeah. I would have to go. Honestly, I think I would go Dunkin'.
Nice.
Just because I feel like it's a little easier to correct. So like if I go get a cold brew and I'm like, oh, let me just put just a little vanilla or a little splash of cream, kind of soften the blow of this like crazy overly heavy cold brew, and it's a little easier to correct than the Starbucks stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't do anything past like the Colombians. It just got too much for me. However, I will tell you, this is a fun anecdote. Being the type of person that I am, people like to. What's the right word? I don't know what the right word is, but anyway, they like to gang up on me. That's a good word. They like to gang up on me. Have you ever played the game Quarters with shots of like alcohol?
I never have actually. No.
So basically, the object of the game is you. Let's just say this coin here. The object of the game is to pinch the quarter between your hands, and then you flip it so that it sails through the air and it lands in a shot glass.
Okay.
And if you do that, then the person that you're playing against has to take the shot. Okay?
Okay.
Normally it's done with alcohol. But when you're in your 20s and you work at Starbucks, you play the same game, but you're using espresso.
Oh, no.
So we're playing in a group of 4, and they all decide to gang up on me.
Oh, man.
And I ended up doing 12 shots of espresso back to back to back to back to back. And I don't know if you've ever seen what that does to a human, but it is not pleasant.
It'll stop your heart. Yeah.
So you have like this, every muscle in your body contracts and you can't let it go. It doesn't release. It doesn't release. And you're just like, you're like the Flash. You're vibrating at at some sort of like sound wave level.
Yeah.
You're just
about to start phasing through walls.
Yeah, and then eventually I just passed out in the corner. So
oh my gosh,
it was nuts. I've never experienced anything like it. But if you ever get a chance to do 12 shots of espresso, I highly recommend it.
There's been 2 times in my life where I've over caffeinated to the point to where I was like physically sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
But that was after that I was like, nope, never again. That's
arm muscles, your leg muscles, everything. Your heart isn't even beating. It's just
kind of rattling.
It's just doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm aware of everything. I can see everything. I can hear everything.
I'm aware of everything. I see in color. I hear colors.
I can see in color. I hear colors. Wow. Did you guys see that hummingbird? Oh my god. It was flapping so slow. It was oh my god. It was crazy. I've never seen a hummingbird flap that slow before. I'm gonna lay down. I'm gonna die. Bye.
Yeah.
See you guys later. You wake up 2 days later in the corner, you roll all down your chest.
Oh, thank you.
What happened? You lost at Quarters. That's what happened.
Yep.
Sorry, I apologize.
Oh no.
Starting to derail like Eddie's show.
At least my camera's not going to cut out on your show like it did on Eddie's. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate the upgrade.
Nice.
I did that, yeah.
Hey, we're at the 1 hour mark. What do you say we give something else away?
Heck yeah.
Let's do it.
That should have set you into cardiac arrest. Now, I'm immortal. I told you that. I am immortal. Nothing sends me into cardiac arrest.
I have a question. If you
Definitely. I'm out of questions today. Hunter got me completely off my game by not knowing anything about him.
All right. So Hunter said his first vehicle was an Expedition. What color was it?
What was the question?
Hunter said his first vehicle was an Expedition. I think he said Eddie Bauer edition. What color was it?
You know, Eileen, you're getting much better at this as we go along. As the curmudgeon corners progress, I think I'm the co-host at this point. You are so much better at this. You are so much better at this than I am.
I just know what happens, and so I just have to make sure that we're in it to win it.
Yeah.
I texted Hunter earlier today. I was just like, listen, I've had a really, really rough week. The apple juice is going to flow freely. I hope Eileen brings her A game because she's going to be running the show tonight.
So Mary is the first person I see who got maroon correctly.
Maroon. Mary. All right, Mary. I'm pretty positive, Mary, that you've won in the past, so you should be in my database. But if not, just kindly send over an email of your mailing address, and we will get you a bottle of. Well, Mary, why don't you pick? We have a Typhon kit, we have a Peleus panel prep, and we have a Titan, and I believe Apex Auto Wash are all up for grab at this point. So you pick, and then send over an email of your shipping address, and we will get that out to you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Hopefully someday. Eileen, the reason why I say that is, and this is very important. I apologize for segueing here. I turned 50 last week, and thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Congrats. Happy birthday.
Yeah, nobody believed that was ever going to happen. We were all like, "Oh, he'll make it to 26 at best," but here we are. Anyway, the point of that story being, my father wanted to memorialize. My dad and I have always gone fishing. We do these destination fishing trips. But since I started Phoenix, everything has taken backseat to being Phoenix. Phoenix is primary for everything that I do. Which, incidentally, not being a morning person, because I only get like 4 hours of sleep, I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about Phoenix, and so therefore there's no sleep for me. So I have now effectively become a morning person, waking up at 6 a.m. like at full tilt, like I just did 12 shots of espresso because I'm thinking about my business. Anyway, My dad is like, "How about this? Like, let me just lay this on you, Hunter." My dad says to me last summer, we're sitting here, he's talking about wanting to go fishing this year, and he says, "Son, I probably have about 10 good years left in me. Go fishing." And you're just like, "Oh, come on. Like, how are you supposed to say no?
You got to do it.
Yeah. Right? Like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Let's go.
Nothing like
there's no choice.
Nothing like a little Protestant guilt to get me going fishing. All right, let's do that. So anyway, to memorialize my 50th, we're going fishing this week.
Nice.
So I leave for Wyoming, I think, on Tuesday. So the reason why I said, Eileen, hopefully she'll get it eventually, is that if I don't get it out the door on Monday, it'll be a week before I can actually make sure that stuff gets shipped. Because the last time I went anywhere, I think it was with my brother in Phoenix, we were supposed to send something to England. And when I got back, it was, well, we didn't know what his email address is, so we didn't send it. And I'm like, did you ask anybody, or are you just gonna wait? You're just gonna wait till I get back to handle it. And he was just like, oh, well, I figured you'd know. And I'm like, well, my cell phone works in Phoenix, Arizona. You could have called, you could have texted. Any viable solutions could have happened. So anyway, point of the story is I'm going fishing in Wyoming on Tuesday, and therefore there may be some shipping delays between my customers, prize winners, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Got it.
Yeah. So Mary, info at phoenixeod.com would probably be the fastest way to get attention. But if they're not paying attention, then there's going to be, delays. Anyway, so Mary, did Mary decide what she wanted, by the way?
Apex, she said.
Yeah. Mary wanted Apex. Thank you. We're going to Thermopylae, which apparently is the bighorn. We're going to fish for trout on the bighorn. My dad and I are big fly fish hunters, and our last trip we did, I think, was the Elk River in West Virginia, and the time before that was the Middle Fork of the Salmon River in Idaho. And then the time before that was the Abasoka Mountains in Montana. Again, these are all like off the grid kind of places. Like the idea behind it is I'm so attached to my phone and Phoenix that my dad tries to make sure that I can't access it even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Eileen, I think it's time for now and then. Or then and now. Or then and now. Now and then. I forget what
we're doing it now.
All right.
Alrighty. So, all right, Hunter. What is a tool that you bought that you feel now you could have waited or maybe not have purchased at all?
Ooh, definitely my the Tornador Black, like the air tool that has the reservoir on the bottom. Yeah. I don't use it.
Really?
I used it one time and I haven't touched it since.
I live by that thing.
I know you do, which is awesome to watch. Like watch you
amazing.
Use them. I'm like, oh, I love. Like it makes me want to go get it out and actually use it, because it's like I bought it. I used it once to test it out and all that. Used it on a car, and then it went on a shelf, and I forgot I even have it. And it's like, I end up just spraying the product onto the surface.
Yeah.
Using a brush or whatever, and then wiping up, and then I'll go back with the normal blowout tool and blow things out. But it's very rare that I'm like injecting or blowing, like really working it in with it. And so it's one of those things I probably could have not purchased and been okay with it.
And
but
spent time with it.
it's such a good product.
That's really interesting, because from what I understand, the Tornador was like, I mean, it works magic on sandy soil. And I haven't been to San Antonio in some time, but I remember there's quite a bit of
sand.
Sand.
Yeah. No, the normal blowout tool I use every time, like every day. That every detail, anytime I'm working on something, the normal blowout tool it's hooked up to the compressor and I'm using it. It's just the reservoir version that shoots product through it. I just don't use. But
intriguing.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
One of the things that I did learn when I did go to quote unquote detailer school was that no two detailers detail the same way. And this is a primary example of that, because one person lives and dies by that sword, and the other one is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what is one thing that you have in your arsenal that if it was missing on your next detail, you'd struggle or you'd kick yourself for not having?
Oh, my scan grip headlamp. That's the moment I walk out in the garage to work on anything, even if it's not a car, if it's just anything, if I'm changing the oil or whatever it may be.
It goes on.
Oh yeah, that headlamp is going on no matter what. So if I didn't have a headlamp with me, speak of the devil, if I didn't have this with me, I would feel very lost for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
That's great. That's like a hidden little gem, because nobody's ever mentioned that before.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody has. Yeah.
I'm just an old dad at heart. Thanks, shout out to my dad for instilling the ways of the headlamp into me, and so it's just headlamps for life now.
I've got 6, and what I bought for everybody for stocking stuffers this last Christmas was the LED one that goes all the way around your head. That thing is
Cyclops
amazing,
one,
and you can use it, and like I use it everywhere. I use it like when I'm working on the furnace or in the garage, or I'm hooking up cables for the TV. That unibrow LED headlamp is just absolutely indispensable for sure.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Next one is, what is a skill that you learned that has proven to be the most beneficial for you as a detail or in your business? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a physical skill. It could be anything.
I think for me, it's just people skills, like the communicational side of things. Spending so much time working a lot of retail jobs kind of helped over the years turn me into even more like a better equipped people person. So it's like being able to talk to people is easy. It's harder to ask the right questions and also be a good listener to then help that person out, and whatever the case may be, whether that's providing a skill or just in life. Like it's the people side of things that definitely is by far my strongest. I would say my strongest like asset, my strongest skill. And so
definitely an important one to have.
Yeah, it's like there's times where I love. That's part of my my normal 8 to 5 job is fun in the regards of I can put headphones in and I know, hey, these are the orders that I have to knock out. I can shut my office door and I can just grind out orders and not talk to anybody for 2 hours. And it's that sometimes that just one track mind focused, knock them out. But then it's like there's most of the time where it's like, okay, I like being around people, I like talking to people, and that customer service side of things is definitely very crucial for sure.
Yeah. Alright, what is the weirdest thing you found while detailing a vehicle?
Oh no!
Dr. Pepper explosions.
Oh man, the weirdest thing. Oh man. I mean, I'm trying to think. I found a retainer one time. That was a little weird. Just like the side of a seat.
Yeah.
We've had handguns. We've had sex toys. Like anything that falls into that realm that jogs your memory.
Nothing that crazy. No. I've found
that's a good thing.
That's about it. I mean, there was
Who
a time
knew that San Antonio is so wholesome?
Right now. There was a time I was mobile detailing for a year. I had everything out of the back of my old Scion TC, which is not a detailing rig whatsoever, but it's what I had. And there was a lady who contacted me and she goes, "Hey, so I want to get my sister's Cadillac Escalade detailed." I go, "Okay, yeah, sure." She's like, "Yeah, we want to sell it." I said, "Okay, great." This is my early days back before I requested photos of a vehicle so I could base my price upon further inspection. And so she goes, "Yeah, it's a 2007 Cadillac Escalade." I go, "Oh, great. Oh, it's an Escalade. It's probably going to be awesome and clean." And I get there. Now, this is like early January, maybe. I think it was 30 or 31 degrees outside. It's cold. Is it like there's icicles on the car? And so I open this thing up, and turns out the lady was a hoarder, and her entire Escalade was packed to the brim with just trash and everything imaginable. And I was like, "Oh, this is a nightmare. This is not what I expected at all." So ever since then, I was like, "Okay, I need photos, interior, exterior. Here's a list of things you can take a photo of, and then I'll give you a price."
I need you to draw me a picture of what the inside of your car looks like.
Yes, yeah. Are you a hoarder? Check this box. If you're not, okay, great. So.
Well, that's a good segue into the next question.
Well, it's surprising like how many people I've talked to that say, "Oh, it's not that bad."
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It always ends up being bad. So.
Yeah. So as soon as they say, "Oh, it's not that bad," add $100.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yep.
Okay, so have you ever had a customer express unrealistic expectations of a detail, and the origin of this question is because I went on a detail and I thought that I had explained myself properly to this customer. And in the middle of the detail, he came out and was like, wait, you're not going to take the seats out, and you're not going to do this, and you're not going to do that. And I'm like, this is $100 like detail. Like it's super basic. You know? I'm not taking the seats out for $100. So that's where this question comes from. So have you ever had that happen to you?
Actually, her response was more like, I'm in a magazine and I've won awards.
That's right. Yeah.
Excuse me, do you know who you're talking to? Anyway, go ahead.
No, there was only one time really, which actually this customer, the forester that I'm going to be working on here soon, was under the impression that, so I was using the term seat extraction, extracting the seats, getting them all cleaned up. And in his mind, he thought I meant pulling the seats out and like deep diving under. And I was like, no. I was like, I don't pull seats out. I clean the best I can to where I can get to, whatever tools necessary, but I don't pull seats out. I'm like, I'm not going to mess with that.
Yeah, but the guy on YouTube does this.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to pull your seats out and then fully extract. I'm not going to be a Papa Smurf, and I'm not going to fully extract the carpet in a long SUV.
Not happening.
Yeah. It's only because he's my friend that I'm doing that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
I have to work with him. He's a coworker.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was a time where I worked on a 2-door Jeep Wrangler, and they had gotten it for their daughter to go to college with. And it was bad. And it was a lot of kind of throwing in some things like, hey, look, I'm not going to charge you. Like, I'm going to go ahead and restore all the trim for you, to hit everything with solution finish, make it look real nice for you, doing some extra things. But I was like, hey, we agreed upon, and I was very detailed in my description of like, hey, this is what you're going to get for this price. Here's, interior, exterior. And it was just your basic thorough exterior wash, restore the plastics, interior detail, vacuum clean all the trim, that kind of thing. And so I got everything. They didn't want to go the full seat cleaning route. They just wanted to get everything else, because I was going to charge you another $100 or whatever for the seats. And I was like, they was like, no, we don't want to go that route. But so after everything was all said and done, they come to pick it up. They're looking at it like, oh, it looks really great. And then they text me later that evening and they go, hey, I thought we were supposed to, I thought the seats were going to get cleaned in the price that that we agreed on. And I go, no. Like, you go back and look at my text. It was I was being very detailed, and hey, you get X, Y, and Z, but we didn't want to do the full seat, thorough cleaning of the seats. So that was really the only time that I've ever had something like that happen, where it just, I guess, communication just still wasn't good enough to where they understood, hey, this is what I'm getting, this is what I'm not. So yeah.
I feel like that for me is like a constant evolution of like how specific I need to be when it comes to the interiors. Like, it's gotten to the point where I have, like, on my form, there's like a disclaimer where it says like, these are all the things that are included. I do not clean your seats. Is that good enough for you? Like, is that okay for you? Yes. Right. No. Then we can quote something else. But like, I feel like every time there's like an evolution of like how specific I need to be about that. Because people think you're just gonna give them a brand new car. Yeah. If you're not specific about it.
Right. And that's what I told like the Forester. I was like, hey, look, I can just run my steamer over it. Like, hit it with a little cleaner, run a little quote unquote dry extraction, like steam it, just do it that way, and freshen it up. Because from the photos, it actually didn't look that bad.
Right.
But so I was like, if we do end up, once you drop it off and I see it, I'm like, hey, this seat is soaked with Dr. Pepper. I can go ahead and extract this seat alone, or if we want to do all of them, whatever, then we can bump the price up to accommodate that. But sure. I was like,
but I think that's also that level of communication is very important. And I constantly go back to Phil Miranda, and as a matter of fact, a lot of the guests that we have on the show, I ask the same question, where it's kind of like, Miranda is a big proponent of conversation with the customer and expectations, and where he'll say, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you see what this problem area is here? Do you want me to take it, to go after it? And if the customer says no, then he doesn't do it. Right. And it's kind of like, I remember the episode, he was talking actually about gloss and wax, and he was just like, I know that the customer needed this. And as a detailer, I want to do this.
Yeah.
but I had that conversation with the customer, and the customer said, "Don't worry about it." And so even though I know that it needs this, I'm not going to do it because the customer doesn't want it and the customer's not paying for it.
Right.
But then at the other side of the coin is you have Nacho Man, where Nacho Man is kind of like, hey, this is my reputation and this is who I am. And it's kind of like the job that I do on this vehicle is going to be the billboard of my work. And so I'm going to go above and beyond, even if the customer doesn't want it, even if the customer doesn't ask for it, or even if the customer isn't paying for it. I'm kind of going to go above and beyond to do the best that I possibly can because, you know, I want word of mouth to go, wow, who did that to your car? As opposed to who did that to your car? And you're like, oh, Nacho Man did it. And they're like, well, it's kind of a crap job. That customer is never going to say, I didn't want the Excalibur package. You know, I opted to not go after those scratches or fix that blemish. They're never going to say that. So therefore, he's absolutely right. At the end of the day, they're going to be like, oh, Nacho Man did that? No, that looks like trash. And it's just kind of like, no, that's because you didn't want the full package, you son of a bitch.
And it's like, you know, it's you do the full interior and the seats actually aren't bad, but there's like the one right bolster on the bottom of the seat that's just, they've dropped food down the crack in between the center console and the seat. And you're like, if I could just clean this one bolster and tie everything in together, it's like I'm always going to do that pretty much. It's like it depends on, it's like, okay, is this entire seat really bad and do I need to clean both front seats? Is it worth me spending another, let's say, hour and a half to get them to look good, but the customer doesn't want to pay for that amount of time, like they don't want to pay for it? I'm like, is it worth my time to do that, or do I just clean if it's just one bolster? I'm doing it just to complete the, you know, the interior. But
one of my old coworkers, he was like, make the stain bigger, right? Just make it bigger. So just if it's a
spray
stain,
some water on it.
just make the stain bigger. Or 2, use upholstery dye, and that is aerosol can. You can find the right color. Just do that and call it a day. Use the upholstery dye, man.
Oh man!
I was like, wow. All right. I guess that's an approach.
Yeah, that's one way.
We'll just paint it black. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing, Hunter, like you said, where it's like if I look at something and I'm like, in order to complete that full picture, is this one thing going to take me like 30 minutes? Then sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's going to take me like an hour and a half, then, and they're not willing to budge on the price or you know, pay more, then it's like, I wish.
Yeah. Hunter, how do you control your urge to over deliver and do things extra when you know they are not paying for it?
Man, I'm terrible at controlling that urge, because most of the time I end up just letting my OCD run a little wild, and I end up completing or just knocking out a few more things that they don't want to. But
let me interrupt you if you don't mind.
No.
That being said, because this is not your bread and butter, this is not your, you differentiate from Eileen, where Eileen is, actively seeking new customers and whatnot. Would you find that your clientele, you have a little bit more of a personal connection to them? Do they know you a little bit better? So therefore you kind of have an obligation to kind of over deliver because of your relationship to them?
I think, most of them are definitely more personal connections, whether it's friends of friends or whatever. But I think I'm more on the side of like the Nacho Man approach of like, hey, this is my work, and if somebody else is going to see this and ask about it, I want it to be like perfect. And so
who did that? I want what you have.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to?
Right. It's like I had somebody reach out to me yesterday about getting an S2000 detailed. Like, hey, we want to sell it. Want to get it all dialed in. Like, okay, great. And they were referred by a friend, and so we're going over all the things. And she goes, yeah, do you have any photos like before and after, kind of to show your work? And I was like, I haven't had somebody ask me for like photo proof of my work in a long time, because it's usually just like people see me on Instagram, friends of friends, kind of they see the car in person and like, oh wow, that's amazing, I saw it before and I saw it after. And so I end up going a little crazy most of the time, and just pushing, doing what the service I'm providing. I end up doing usually a fair bit more than what is being paid for, just because I want it to be as good as it can be. And I think sometimes it's that little extra push that someone may not even think about. Even if you communicated like, hey, like, I know you said you didn't want to do X, Y, or Z, but like it would be once you see everything else together, I think it would be really, really beneficial. And they're like, no, that's okay. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just do it for you. So that way, when you do get in, you're like, oh, wow, now I see, like, it would have been like, it is really beneficial to do that service. And so whether that's next time or just from there, they realize it's a portion of their car they just don't realize makes a big difference. And so I end up doing it. And I think it would be different if I was, let's say, a mobile detailer or ran a shop and I had a lot of cars coming in and out all the time, or had multiple customers a day, where it's like, hey, time is very valuable, and I have 4 hours to knock this car out before I have another one scheduled across town or whatever. And so I think if it was on that side of things, I would be a lot more strict with the extra add-ons that I end up doing. But
that makes a lot of sense. So Kimberly Mick, she asked the question, aren't people supposed to remove trash and belongings? What are the social norms or expectations of a client versus a detailer? Whereas I would probably default to, hey, I'm paying you X amount of dollars. My vehicle's trash, buyer beware. Like, here it comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, build that into your price that you're quoting me, because this place is trash. You know what I mean? I live in this car. Versus, you know what? I should probably pull out these, 6 months worth of McDonald's bags and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think I kind of have, like, it's a little bit of a 50-50. It's like sometimes I have those people who are embarrassed by what's in the car and is piled up, and they're like, I have to go take this. I'm going to go vacuum it myself before I bring it to you because I'm embarrassed at how bad it is. And I'm like, no, my job is to vacuum it. Like, I just remove the bulk. I'll tell people, hey, just remove the bulk items from inside the car. Leave everything else. If it's trash or whatever, leave it. But like big personal items, yoga mats, that kind of thing, if you can remove those, please do. That way I can just get into the car itself.
Sure. Like your personal belongings, remove them so that I can get around your vehicle easier. If I have to clean out and sweep out a whole bunch of stuff, if I can just sweep it all into a trash bag, as opposed to siphon through what's supposed to stay and what's not supposed to stay, is going to add exponential amount of time.
Yeah, and usually if there's a lot of little belongings, I'll pull all of those and I'll put them in a bag together, and then I put it neatly in the back of whether it's an SUV, it's in the back or whatever. I'm like, I'll leave it in one spot next to if there's something else in there, and I'm like, hey, here, I'll just let you know, here's all the little things that I picked up or found under the seats or were in cup holders and that kind of thing, and they're all in this bag, so you know where all of them are, and then you can redistribute them wherever you want to. But for now, for the visual appeal of a nice clean car, like, I don't want to spend 8 hours on your car and have it look perfect and then take all the little things that I picked up and then put them right back where they were, because then it just defeats the purpose of cleaning it up. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If you over deliver to those, do they expect that every time, then lose the customer because the one time you didn't over deliver or give them freebies, they've kind of grown to expect it?
Yeah. I think my case is a little different just because I don't have a lot of reoccurring customers. I think a lot of times I have somebody who comes in. It's usually I like to say a lot of my details are like a big reset detail. So they'll bring something in, whether it's been a year since they've touched it, or 6 months, or 3 months, or whatever, and I'll give it my big once over, get everything reset to whether that's the paint, the interior, whatever, and then I send them off, and I don't see them again for a long time. I may see them again maybe 6 months or a year later, or never. And so it's one of those things. I think which I would try to change the direction of that if I was doing it full time, just because reoccurring customers are awesome because they bring you consistent business. But I have a couple people here and there that are like, hey, every 3 months it's coming back to you. From the day it left the showroom, every 3 months or sooner, it's coming back to you to get a re-up, to bring it back to new. And so I pretty much just end up over delivering all the time, at least a little bit. And so it's again, it's your name. Your name is the billboard on that car. Yes. And so I don't worry about that too much, just because I am pretty much always over delivering in that regard. And so I just continue to provide those extras that they may not be paying for. But
Yeah, I usually do freebies for my maintenance customers. I don't normally do it for the one times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on what it is. Like I said,
Sure.
If it's something that I know it's going to take me like 30 minutes and it's going to like really impact the whole experience, then absolutely I'll do it. But if it's something that I know it's going to take me, a ton of time, like you said, I have 4 hours here and I have to move on. So, yeah. But maintenance clients definitely, because they give me business every month. So
yeah, for sure.
It helps to like, keep them happy.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's, especially being, San Antonio is such a large city, but it also feels so small at the same time. It's just, you have so many friends and people that you've made connections with over the years. It's like one of my most loyal customers is, he owns a tennis shop here in town. And so I've been going to his tennis shop since I first started playing tennis, like going into high school. And so I've known him for over a decade now, and he's been so generous to me in so many ways through his business and getting to, buy tennis equipment and things through him. And so it's just it's fun when you get to return that favor when it's like, hey, I didn't ask for a discount on the set of strings that I just put in my racket, or my shoes that I just bought from you, or I didn't ask for a free hoodie for like representing your store or whatever. And so it's like, it's cool to then in turn get to repay that when they bring their car in. It's like, hey, I'm bringing my car in for this. I'm like, awesome. Let me just do these couple little extra things. And whether that's like, hey, let me knock off $50, or let me provide these couple extra things on top of the normal stuff. And so it's just kind of, it's fun getting to repay that to people that have been so generous to me. So.
Excellent. So I think you have what? We can pretty much. The next question you can pretty much just wipe away, since he only has one social media platform.
Instagram.
Yeah. I do have a YouTube channel. I think I have like 400 subscribers now.
Nice.
I've
posted maybe 2 videos in the last year, but
yeah, I should have. You know what? I should have said something, because I pay for the StreamYard.
Yeah.
You can actually broadcast to your YouTube channel.
Really? Oh, cool. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's okay. No worries.
All right. Last question. How do you classify success? What does that look like for you? Everyone has their own definition, whether it's dollar amount, whatever it is. What does success mean to you?
Yeah. Success to me is, as long as I make enough money to, one, provide for myself, my family, to be able to live, and then also have some left over to enjoy the niceties of life, whether that's food or travel or whatever. And then I get to do what I enjoy. Like whatever I do, I get to enjoy. And so it's like my normal job, it's fun. It's not that challenging, but it's a fun job. I work with really great people, and that allows me to detail and to do my other hobbies. And so honestly, to me, that is everything I could ever ask for. Like if that's it, that's success to me. Like to have a comfortable life with amazing people that surround me and I get to be, share life with. And as long as I get to wake up and have a cup of coffee every day, that's it. That's pretty simple. That's great to me.
Cool.
I can appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. And at some point, let's hope that Phoenix gets there.
It will, man.
We're working on it. We're the daily grind, baby.
Yeah.
So according to my notes, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we're trying to implement an idea where people are able to call in and talk to someone that they a social influencer, if you will, a local celebrity. And if that's the case, let's see if we can't what is for a good time call, I don't even know. I'm sorry.
Not that one.
That's completely inappropriate.
We're not there right now.
Sorry. Wrong.
That's hour 3.
Wrong banner. I apologize. So anyway, landlines are standing by. I think I actually, as a matter of fact, I erased it. That's what I did. 609-232-2927. So let's scroll that. show. All right. So if you want to talk to Hunter,
yeah,
the bearded Hunter, by the way, not to be confused with the beard hunter.
The one time I shaved, so I've only clean shaven probably 3 times in my life since I started growing a beard. At one of those points, I shaved and instant regret, of course, but I did. And so I changed my Instagram handle for like 2 or 3 days, and I changed it to the Beardless Hunter, and then changed it back. I was afraid somebody else was going to grab it, so I changed it back. But yeah,
I had a guy at work that was basically the same way. He had a beard the entire time that I knew him. I was his supervisor. Mm-hmm. One day he came in with it completely clean shaven, and I was just like, "Put it back!
Who is this guy?
Oh, yeah. Put it back! I don't know who you are, but you don't work here. Put it back."
Yeah,
yeah. It's uncanny how it completely changes your face.
Yeah.
I've seen videos on Instagram where kids, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where kids look at their dads and they're like in shock, crying, tears just bawling because they think that it's like a whole different
stranger. Yeah.
Anyone can call.
Operators are standing by.
That's right. Call in. Again, this is something that we've been testing. It's only worked successfully 3 times. It's worked 3 times, but 2 of which was Hawaii Tim, so it doesn't really count because he's Hawaii Tim, and he likes to talk, and it's not really fair. But I love that guy, honestly. Speaking of which, I don't know how this came up, but we were talking about. I'm a very sarcastic individual, and I speak usually through sarcasm. Self-deprecating sarcasm is my go-to, and surprise, it doesn't translate over into text message, and so often I will be extremely sarcastic with someone, and they'll be like, "Hey man, what is your problem?"
Oh yeah.
It's like, which is also what happened with Hawaii Tim. So, and Adrian can also speak to this. I have these triggers, and I ended up buying. I got a deal where it was like, if you buy 1 million triggers, you can get them for like pennies on the pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we had a phone caller, and then they hung up. Oh, they're back. Hold on, they're back. Phoenix COD, you're live on the air.
Not him.
Mr. David Boy.
There he is. What's going on, David?
Since nobody wants to call, and I'm not 64, so I have questions always.
Love it. We're all ears for you,
Welcome,
sir.
David.
What's going on, David?
Hunter, my first question for Hunter is, what is his go-to product for headlight oxidation removal?
Ooh.
Does he include sandpaper or not?
You know,
he said Papa Cut. I don't know if you heard him, but he said Papa Cut. I don't know if you heard him.
It's been a hot minute since I've done any headlights.
What is the difference? And this is for Hunter or you, Aaron.
No,
what are the pros and cons for wet sanding or dry sanding by hand, not using a machine, but by hand?
You know, I think by hand, I feel like I'm getting a little more inconsistency in my sanding if I'm doing it by hand, whether I'm applying a little more of a pressure point or just not getting as uniform of a finish. And so with the machine, I'm able to kind of to finish it out a little bit more cleanly.
You got to turn your radio down, David. David, are you there?
Okay, I did.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm here. I turned it down.
Cool.
But as far as like,
and does he have a device specifically that he's using by hand? Does he use a rib stick? Does he use a little 3-inch handheld kind of polisher? Sander, if you will.
Yeah, I'm usually using like a 3-inch, just a 3-inch polisher. Yeah, just a 3-inch. I used to use like a little Griot's 3-inch polisher, little random orbital. And now I have what do I use now? Actually, it's still it's still Griot's, but it's their whatever the G is, they're the little 3-inch with the larger throw.
I think we gave that away at the last Pay It Forward the Pay It Forward campaign last year. Yeah, it's a fantastic little machine.
Oh, it really is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, David, thank you for calling in. Super appreciate you. Appreciate your support. We're going to let you go. We got about 20 minutes to wrap this show up. We do have a little bit of a time restraint, and we so appreciate you. Your support.
Thank you for calling, David.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, dude. We'll catch up on the next one. Make sure you call Jamie the cleaner and give him a hard time. I will talk to you.
I do. That PXE is amazing, though. One of these days, I will buy one because they're fantastic.
Like, I sleep with it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how close we are.
Nice.
it's like the best thing I've ever bought. And then since I posted it on Instagram, everyone has told me all the things that I need to buy for it.
Yeah.
Like, not to mention the fact that the thing is like $1,000, but like also it felt like that. But also it's like, now you have to get the extender, and then Eric is like, you have to get this and you have to get that and go on here and go on. And now I have like so many like attachments for it, but it's literally like the best thing.
So versatile.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
This is a good segue, and again, I apologize if it cuts into your time, Hunter, but we do have about 19 minutes left on the clock. I do want to be very respectful of your time.
Appreciate it.
Again, I so appreciate you coming on Curmudgeon's Corner 28. Boom, 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 boom. It's just only getting better and bigger and faster. The Pay It Forward campaign. I had a customer reach out to me today, and he said, "Hey, during your Curmudgeon Corners, why aren't you promoting that more?" And I said, "I don't know." Again, kind of the end of the show wrap up stuff that I want to, continually evolve. I do want to mention the Pay It Forward campaign. It runs every year between Black Friday and Christmas, but it also runs all year long. And what runs all year long is we accept donations, and I'll put the shipping address up on the screen for everybody. We accept donations all year long. It can be used equipment, pads, product. I don't care at this point, because it's not about Phoenix. It's about the community. The Pay It Forward campaign, what we do every year is we collect stuff. Right now in the fledgling years of the Pay It Forward campaign, we collect usually detailing stuff, and then we accept nominations for needy or wanting people between Black Friday and Christmas. And then our panel of judges will review all of the entries that are sent to info@phoenixeod.com, the nominations, and then we disseminate the products that we've gathered throughout the year to somebody that could just use, a shot in the arm, a leg up. The idea is that Phoenix EOD doesn't exist without everybody chipping in and helping out. I've had great investors. I've had wonderful friends that have helped produce these products and fine tune these products into making them what I feel is easily contenders for some of the best products on the market. And so the Pay It Forward is, we don't exist without the help of others. And therefore, if we can help others, we want to do that. So I'm going to start promoting between now and Black Friday that we are accepting donations of any type. Like I said, it could be new, it can be used. We don't care what it is, but we're collecting stuff to give to those that are going to need it around Christmas time. Just a little, hey, you're still in the game. You're part of a bigger family. There's a lot of people in this community that suffer from mental disorders, namely depression. I know that I've suffered from depression. There are a lot of community members in the chat today that suffer from forms of depression, and anything that we can do, especially in the holiday season, to lighten their burden and let them know that they're not alone and that they're still in the fight. That's what we're trying to promote. So I want to promote that. And then there's a few other things that we'd like to promote. We definitely have we have distributors throughout the United States. Again, we're always trying to find ways to save people money. Our products, we try to have our products at the most rock bottom prices that we can get, and then shipping becomes an issue. So we have a West Coast distributor, Adrian. Everybody and anybody that knows Adrian knows that he is an absolutely amazing human being.
Yep.
And that you can buy any and all Phoenix products through him if you're somewhere on the West Coast. If you're somewhere in the middle of the United States, we push you towards Fab Detailing Supplies, Fab Automotive Detailing. He's one of the horsemen. He's been with me from the very beginning. He's an excellent fellow. Again, he carries all of our product line. And then in the southeast of America, definitely Titan Tim from ShineYourLightDetailing.com. He definitely has the Phoenix line. So again, any way that we can save you guys some money, that's the way we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then we also have worldwide distributors. We have a distributor in Canada, Chris Lee from Carzilla, absolutely amazing fellow. Imran from Into Detailing in the UK. And then, of course, Andrew, who is like a brother from another mother, OsProDetailing.com is the guy to go to. So those are my guys. I want to promote them. I want to save you guys money. You don't have to buy from me. You don't have to buy from Amazon. You can support small local businesses from wherever you are at.
Very cool.
That's what I got. All right. So now you got 15 minutes to just kind of fill whatever you want there, Hunter.
Well, I think someone wrote a question that was pretty cool to ask Hunter.
Okay.
Is who would you like to meet? Who is your like bucket list person?
Yeah.
Where's
you'd
that?
like to interview
Rick
or
Smith.
meet?
You looking at
Rick
Rick's
Smith.
question?
Rick Smith is awesome.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So Rick says, Hunter, you mentioned, yeah, there we go. Meeting Larry Casilla. Yeah, meeting Larry was cool. I wish I had more time to talk to him, but it was really, really cool. Anybody else on my bucket list to meet? I mean, it's pretty hard to top Larry and Jamie the Cleaner. Let's be real. And
Let
especially,
me ask you this question. There is a rumor mill going around, and so far, everybody has said yes. So don't be the first guy to say no. But so far, everybody has said yes, that we are planning a ginormous get together down at the MTE in January.
Okay.
I got Christian from BioBombs. I've got the Four Horsemen. I haven't confirmed with Phil, but I got like Apex Brian, Papa Smurf is coming, Fab is coming, Chelsea from why am I drawing a blank?
I'm drawing a blank too.
Attention
to
detailing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Attention to details. Lancaster.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's gonna shoot me for stumbling on that. But anyway,
in my head, I saw AD.
Yeah, I see your logo.
All
No
day,
problem.
all day.
I see your logo. And I was like, what is the A-D? What does the A-D stand for? Oh,
all day detailing. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chelsea's coming. Like I said, I got Christian from BioBombs. He wants to come down. So if I know Hawaii Tim is coming. Adrian's coming. I strong-armed Eileen into coming. Like, we're all going to the MTE in January. So you need to get yourself and that whole who would you like to meet?
Yeah.
We're all going to be there.
Oh yeah, I'd like to meet all you guys. Come on. Yeah.
Right? Hey, can I get you to commit to come on down?
I would love to, man. Yeah, as long as I can get the time off work, which shouldn't be a problem, then I will be there.
You only have like 9 months to put in
I know.
for it. Like I think I put it. Hey, you remember back in May when I put in for time off in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here this week. Bye.
Yep. I've maxed out this year with honeymoon coming up in October and
congratulations.
So thank you. Yeah, it's like I'm maxed out on days this year. I'm like I'm squeezing in things where I can, but next year. I mean, January starts a new year,
what is this BS? Ryan, you're going to come. You went out to the Southern Detailers Conference. You're going to make it to MTE. It's a hell of a lot closer. Who are you kidding? You're going to be there. We're going to get everybody and anybody. And it's not even going to be like a formal event. Like the Southern Detailers Conference, we had a booth. The Four Horsemen were there. No, this is going to be a hangout. We're going to meet and greet. We're going to drink apple juice. We're going to eat barbecue. We're going to have a good time. And it's going to be like a flash mob of everything and anything Phoenix family related.
That's going to be dope. it looked like a blast last year or this year. So
yeah, well, that's the thing is that like everybody wanted me to go, but I was like, I wasted a lot of money at Southern Detailers Conference, and not because like everybody and anybody that was there, Stephanie and Big Mike, they can all attest that we were easily the busiest booth. Like we had everybody jamming at the Phoenix booth, and it was a really good time. But 100% of 200 people still sucks. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Yeah. It wasn't my fault that it sucked. It was because like they didn't promote it. They didn't, they didn't talk about it. They didn't advertise it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got a hell of a crowd, but the overall attendance was so poor that it was kind of like, it was a waste. Now, mind you, like being able to hang out and drink with Papa Smurf on 4th Street, like that's, you can't pay for those memories.
Yeah.
Right. Or screaming at the top of your lungs across the balcony at Papa Smurf, meeting Cat Guy and hanging out with Titan Tim and meeting Ryan and all these guys. And Hawaii Tim took a red eye just so he could meet the Horsemen. Like that was so epic. Like being a part of that was epic. But again, 100% of 200 people sucked. If we can recreate this at the MTE where we're just having a block party, I want to do that. And if I can help facilitate that, I am there. So
heck yeah,
come on down.
I will.
We'll bring the apple juice. You just show up.
All right, you got it.
All right. Hey, you guys heard it here first. The Bearded Hunter is coming to the MTE 2025.
That's right.
Hey, and congratulations on your honeymoon. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Wow, look at you. We're sneaking that in there.
I know. It looks like we're gonna fly over to Boston and then drive up to Vermont. And
I was going to say, why? I used to live in Boston. Are you sure you want to do that?
It's the nearest airport that they can get us there. So
that's fair.
We're gonna fly into Boston, drive up to Vermont, stay a couple days, and then drive over to New Hampshire, spend a couple days up there, and just go around and see all the sights. And
if you could do me a favor, and this is a huge favor, especially on the most important week of your life. I'm looking. I have a map at the office that has a push pin in every state that we've sold to, and the only 2 holdouts is South Dakota and New Hampshire.
Really?
We have sold to 48 states except for those 2 clowns, and they're really pissing me off. I'm just saying, if you could do like, hey, you should probably buy something from this company called Phoenix DOD. That would be really great. And we could check off that box. That would be awesome. Because, I mean, I think the 4 people in South Dakota just probably haven't heard of us yet. But once they do, and they're going to buy.
They don't clean their cars.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I can't track any Amazon sales. But as far as website sales are concerned, New Hampshire and South Dakota are holding out on. We sold to Alaska, man. We sold Kraken to Alaska. Come on now, Hawaii. We got, besides Hawaii, Tim, there's a guy named Guy out there who buys a lot of my stuff. I'm just saying, like, if those 2 extremes can buy it,
right?
Seriously, Hampshire, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I'll find a shop down there while we're there, and I'll just walk in and be like, look, there's some stuff.
right.
Okay?
Place an order.
We really need to get some stuff.
I appreciate it.
I'll sell them on hard.
I know it's only the busiest and the most important week of your entire life, other than maybe a child being born. I get, but if you can work it into your schedule,
I will do my very best to share all of the good news of Phoenix DOD. So,
thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So wait, but other than meeting everyone in the chat right now at MTE, who is it that you have really wanted to meet? I mean, I know you really want to meet us.
Yeah, definitely. I
outside of us.
Gosh, it's hard because it's like,
I mean, outside of Eileen, let's be honest. Outside of Eileen, who do you really want to meet? I mean, she got awards. She's in magazines. She's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Now, shout out Mike G, because Mike G is an individual who I would definitely like to meet. I've watched his stuff for years on YouTube, like back in the day. And one day I was like, wait, Mike G followed me on Instagram. I was like, what the heck? And then it was like, this is crazy. And he's such a cool guy and so nice, and it's fun chatting with him.
Nice. Well, if he goes to MTE, then yeah, maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe
Look, he's in the chat right now.
Yep, exactly.
Hey, Mike G.
Yep.
Just take off time. Work will always be. Mike, you have to pony up as well, bud. I'm asking you to commit. If we can get you to come, the Bearded Hunter is a shoo-in. So if we can get you, the Bearded Hunter will follow. So
that's right.
Can we get you to sign on board to the MTE?
Yeah.
Oh, Micah G.
But yeah, I would love to meet Eddie Cologne. I mean, we got to meet on the podcast and stuff, but like in person, be a lot of fun. Just he seems like such a great guy. And I mean, Phil, Miranda Detailing, like another person who I've watched for a long time. I think would be just a really cool treat to get to meet and hang out with. So
nice.
I drove down to see him at his house 2 years ago when we released the Kraken. I did the Southern American tour. I drove down through Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all that stuff. I got to meet with him and have dinner with him, and he is nothing like I had anticipated. Such an excellent fellow. I loved hanging out with Phil. He's so he is off camera. He's a whole different guy, and I just love him. I love Phil. I have a pen that says I love Phil. I love Phil because he's awesome. He is so cool, and his off-roading experiences and getting him to show up at the Southern Detailers Conference was definitely a gold star on my calendar, a cherry on my Sunday. He was the guy.
So
cool. I get to hang out with Brian from Apex. I just had lunch with him yesterday, so he's not really that guy to me anymore.
Right.
He's kind of like the superstar, but he's like,
this guy's the GOAT. Like, it's
Brian? Are you talking about Brian? I mean, Brian, really? That guy?
I mean, like Brian, yeah.
Hey, Brian, the drives a Lamborghini. That guy? Is that who you're talking about? I mean, all right, he's Brian, I guess. But Phil, have you seen Phil? He's got a lake.
Oh, it's so cool.
Anyway,
so cool.
All right. So, Mikey G, you're going because you have to now. The Bearded Hunter, you're going. We have 3 minutes left in this wonderful episode. Hunter, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I appreciate your generosity with your time, your insight, your knowledge into the industry, the fact that this is a part-time gig for you, but you are yet such an iconic figure in the detailing world, especially on Instagram. Your photo work, your marketing abilities. If you are a company like me, you would be a fool not to search you out and seek your help with marketing and all things just photo related. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I didn't know what to expect with you coming here because there's so much about you I didn't know, and I am so grateful that you are here.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. It has been so fun. And it's one of those things where it's like I watching them and I'm like, oh man, it's like 3 hours. I feel like is a long time to sit, and have a conversation over, live stream or whatever. Man, it's flown by. I'm like, how do you?
It really has. I have so much more things I want to throw at you. You know what I mean? But it's just like, gotta be respectful. If you want to back on your show again, you gotta be good. Save it for next time. It's
been a blast. It has been so much fun. And,
speaking of next time, again another selfless plug. We are going to be celebrating our 3rd year anniversary in July. So I was looking at July 6th. I've already got Papa Smurf roped in. Eileen has been licked, so she has to come. The idea, what we are trying to do is Papa Smurf and I currently hold the record for live streams. And I think it's close to 4 hours.
Wow.
And we're going to break that record on our birthday. And what the idea that I've been throwing around, and I haven't even talked to Eileen about this. So surprise. What I was thinking about doing was everybody that's been a part of the Curmudgeon's Corner for the last 28 episodes. And then Jamie the Cleaner will be our next guest in 2 weeks. And that's on, I think, the 25th, whatever 2 weeks from now is. Jamie the Cleaner is going to be on the episode. And then June, we have 2 amazing guests that I'm going to tease but not reveal until we get closer to June. I'll reveal it in Jamie's stream. But anyway, the point of my story is what we're thinking about doing is maybe getting everybody that's been a part of the Curmudgeon's Corner for the last 2 years to come on the show for the birthday show. And even if it's just for 15 minutes or 20 minutes a piece, just have you come in and just kind of be a part of the birthday celebration. If that's something that you'd be willing to do, I'd like to extend the offer to you first and say, hey man, if you can come back on July 6th and just give us 15, 20 minutes of your time, be a part of the celebration, I'd really appreciate it.
Man,
we're going to be breaking some records, and I can't wait.
I'd love to. Count me in.
Kimberly, the unofficial birthday of Phoenix is the 4th of July. Which unfortunately happens to be a Thursday this year. So the closest Saturday to the 4th of July is July 6th. So yeah, that's the birthday celebration. I've already cleared it with my mother. My mom always likes to throw a big 4th of July picnic. 4th of July and Thanksgiving was always my family's biggest and favorite holidays. Right? We do 4th of July. At one point I was a pyrotechnician where we were setting off our own stuff. So 4th of July was huge in my family, and Thanksgiving was huge in my family. And when we officially launched Phoenix, it was in July of 2021. And so we always say great ideas are shared amongst everyone. America and Phoenix E.O.D. 4th of July is our birthday. Hooah! Even though we both know that July 2nd was America's official birthday. Don't tell anyone. Anyway, that being said, Hunter, I'd love for you to come on our show again, even if it's just for a few minutes, to just say hey and celebrate with us.
Count me in. I'll be there.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Again, Eileen, thank you so much for being my co-host. You are absolutely wonderful. You definitely hold the show together, especially when I start hitting the apple juice hard. Your questions are poignant. I love you so much.
Love you too.
Every day I am so impressed with your skills and the work that you're putting out. Hunter, you've been so super gracious with your time. And everybody that's in the chat room, thank you so much for spending your Saturday night with us. I couldn't appreciate you guys more. Without you, we do not exist. So thank you. And until next time.
Yes, thank
you.
That?
I'm sorry. I was
just saying thank you to Hunter.
If you guys want to hang out backstage for a minute.
Hunter has things he has to do.
It's true. It's true. He does. All right. Anyway, everybody, we love you. Thanks for coming out Saturday night. Curmudgeon's Corner 28 in the books. We'll see you next time for Jamie the Cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Good night.
Night, everybody.